how we can go ahead with the growth making, changing economy, infrastructure, how we can focus on modern infrastructure, system, what should be the effective system in the economy, vibrant demography, and how we can match and manage demand and supply by becoming Atmanirbhar. That is what said by the Honorable Prime Minister. I would like to go ahead here with one small clip. So I'm just presenting a 3 minutes clip, and then we will continue with the presentation, which will give you an idea about the Atmanirbhar Bharat.
पहले एक तरह से टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं बनाई है तो जाहिर सी बात है मेरे बेटे सुरावर की में टेक्नोलॉजी आज के टाइम का बच्चा अभी से ही कोडिंग सीख रहा है। अब आप बोलोगे कि इतना छोटा बच्चा और अभी से फ्यूचर रेडी बहुत नाइंसाफी है। मैं
ना चाहे तो टेस्ट जीडी न्यूज।
तो संकट को दरअसल अब अवसर में बदलना है और इसी के लिए आत्मनिर्भर भारत का प्रधानमंत्री ने मंत्र दिया। प्रधानमंत्री के मंत्र की आज जो उन्होंने मंत्र दिया उस मंत्र में क्या अहम बातें हैं, आइए उसको समझने की कोशिश करते हैं। इस पूरे आत्मनिर्भर भारत के मंत्र में क्या है, आत्मनिर्भर भारत अभियान, उसको समझने की कोशिश करते हैं। आत्मनिर्भर भारत यानी भारत को अपने पैरों पर ही खड़े होना है, अपने पैरों पर खड़े होना यानी भारत दूसरे देशों पर अपनी निर्भरता कम से कम जो है वो करे, यानी दूसरे देशों पर हम निर्भर कम रहें और हम आत्मनिर्भर रहें। हर वो चीज जिसे आयात करने के लिए देश मजबूर है वो भारत में ही कैसे बने, इस पर फोकस होना चाहिए। कैसे हम जो चीजें आयात करते हैं वो हम भारत में ही बना सकते हैं, इस पर फोकस करना है। और भविष्य में उन्हीं उत्पादों का भारत कैसे निर्यात करें, यानी जो हम आयात करते हैं उसको अपने लिए भी बनाए और साथ साथ उनका निर्यातक कैसे बने, उन चीजों का इस दिशा में भी हमें काम करना होगा। प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा, जैसा भी हमने देखा पीपीई किट को लेकर और मास्क को लेकर भारत आत्मनिर्भर भी हुआ और दूसरों को सप्लाई भी कर रहा है। हर वो सामान जो भी भारत का लघु उद्यमी बनाता है उसे विदेशों से मंगाना बंद करें हम, यानी लघु उद्योगों को बढ़ावा कैसे मिले उसके लिए जरूरी है जो लघु उद्यमी बनाते हैं उनको विदेशों से मंगाना बंद करें, जिससे उनकी मांग बढ़ेगी और साथ साथ उनका प्रॉफिट बढ़े। अपने हैंडीक्राफ्ट सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप से जुड़े करोड़ों लोगों के सामान जो है अपनाएं, यानी कि उनके हैंडीक्राफ्ट सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप से जुड़े लोग जो बनाते हैं उनको हम अपनाएं। अब अपने लोकल के लिए वोकल होने का समय है, ये प्रधानमंत्री ने आज कहा है आत्मनिर्भर भारत अभियान में, लोकल के लिए वोकल होने का। हर गांव, हर कस्बे, हर जिले, हर प्रदेश और पूरे देश को आत्मनिर्भर करने का समय आ गया है। गांव, कस्बे, जिले, देश पूरा आत्मनिर्भर बने। उद्योग जगत को अपनी मौजूदा सप्लाई चेन के साथ सभी हितधारकों को संकट से निकालने में मदद करनी होगी। सप्लाई चेन बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है, उस पर प्रधानमंत्री ने जोर दिया है। पिछले 5-6 सालों में देश की नीति और रीति में भारत की आत्मनिर्भरता का लक्ष्य सर्वोपरि रहा है, ये प्रधानमंत्री ने आज कहा है। और साथ साथ उन्होंने कहा कि अब कोरोना संकट ने हमें आत्मनिर्भर भारत की गति और तेज करने का सबक दिया, यानी सबक क्या है, हम अपनी जो गति है उसको और तेज करें, ये कोरोना संकट ने हमें सबक दिया है। अब हम आत्मनिर्भर भारत की बात करते हैं तो रुपे कार्ड का इस्तेमाल करें, रुपे कार्ड का ज्यादा से ज्यादा इस्तेमाल करें, प्रधानमंत्री ने ये भी कहा है। जन केंद्रित, जन आधारित और जलवायु अनुकूल विकल्प के लिए सरकार प्रतिबद्ध है, ये भी प्रधानमंत्री ने आज कहा है। तो ये प्रधानमंत्री ने आज आत्मनिर्भर भारत के लिए जो मंत्र दिया वो मंत्र है प्रधानमंत्री का। उन्होंने कहा कि कैसे हम आत्मनिर्भर भारत बनाएंगे।
ये बड़ा जरूरी है, संकट को अवसर में बदलना है, लेकिन साथ साथ एक अच्छी खबर भी है, जैसा मैंने शुरू में बताया था। एक तरफ कोरोना संकट ने भारत ही नहीं बल्कि दुनिया भर के देशों के लिए
Yes, coming back to our original presentation, I'm going back to presentation and we will continue with the presentation. So this is what said by the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, right? Now, second question arises, why Atmanirbhar Bharat? This package is of 20 lakh crore rupees, which is almost 10% of GDP. And what is said in this Atmanirbhar Bharat project? It is said that almost 38 million people who are associated with the factories will be benefited. Almost 45 million people associated with textile industries, 11 crore people from MSME, 10 crore laborers will be benefited out of this scheme. Over and above this, laborers, employees of hotel and tourism industries will be benefited. This is what said by the Atmanirbhar Bharat scheme. It is also said that this scheme will affect Make in India mission, provide good investment opportunities. It will rationalize taxation system. It will motivate a new business, new profession. It will also provide a platform for reformation of infrastructure. It will make human resources more capable, more productive. It will lead to a good financial system. It will offer a reformation in agricultural supply chain and system. सुनने में तो ये बहुत ही अच्छा लगता है. All these things are seems to be very fine. अगर ये सब चीज हो जाती है तो बहुत बढ़िया है. लेकिन इसमें एक सवाल पीछे से खड़ा होता है कि क्या ये सब मुमकिन है? Is it possible to have such a drastic change in our Indian economy and in the life of people? The answer is very, very difficult. We are optimistic people. We don't deny that this is not possible. This is possible. But again, question arises, how? And rather than discussing further that how it is possible, again, I would like to discuss that how this is possible, right? It is not possible by one person, one government, or one
दुर्गादास नाम का एक व्यक्ति रहा करता था. वो था तो बहुत अमीर किसान, लेकिन वो बहुत ही आलसी भी था. वो न तो कभी अपने खेत खलियान देखने के लिए जाता और ना ही कोई काम करना उसे पसंद.
भी वो कोई खबर नहीं रखता था और ना ही अपने एक गांव में दुर्गादास नाम का एक व्यक्ति रहा करता था. वो था तो बहुत अमीर किसान, लेकिन वो बहुत ही आलसी भी था. वो न तो कभी अपने खेत खलियान देखने के लिए जाता और ना ही कोई काम करना उसे पसंद था. अपनी गाय भैंसों की भी वो कोई खबर नहीं रखता था और ना ही अपने घर के सामानों की देखभाल करता. अपना सब काम वो नौकरों पर छोड़ दिया करता था. दिन ऐसे ही गुजरते रहे, लेकिन अब होने ये लगा था कि उसके उस आलस की वजह से उसके घर की व्यवस्था धीरे धीरे बिगड़ने लगी. उसको खेती में नुकसान होने लगा. गायों भैंसों के दूध घी से भी उसे कोई खास फायदा नहीं होता। वो नुकसान उठाता रहा लेकिन अपनी आलस छोड़ने के लिए राजी ना हुआ। एक दिन दुर्गादास का एक मित्र हरिचंद्र उससे मिलने आया। हरिचंद्र ने दुर्गादास के घर का ये हाल देखा तो अपने दोस्त का ऐसा हाल देखकर उसने ये समझ लिया कि उसके समझाने से भी आलसी दुर्गादास अपना ये स्वभाव नहीं छोड़ेगा। इसलिए उसने अपने दोस्त की भलाई के लिए उससे बात करने की ठानी। उसने दुर्गा से कहा, दुर्गा, तुम्हारी ये हालत देखकर मुझे बड़ा दुख हो रहा है, लेकिन तुम घबराओ नहीं। तुम्हारी इस गरीबी को दूर करने का एक बहुत ही सरल तरीका मैं जानता हूँ। ये सुनकर दुर्गादास खुश हो गया। उसने जल्दी से पूछा, मेरे दोस्त, मेरे भाई, कृपा करके मुझे बताओ कि वो उपाय क्या है। मैं उस पर जरूर काम करूंगा। हरिचंद्र ने अपने दोस्त को उसकी गरीबी को दूर करने का उपाय बताते हुए कहा, तुम एक काम करना, सब पशु पक्षियों के जागने से पहले तुम्हारे खेत में मौजूद तालाब पर चले जाना। आसमानों पर रहने वाला एक सफेद हंस सुबह सुबह पौ फटने से पहले वहां आता है और कहते हैं कि जो व्यक्ति उसे एक बार भी देख लेता है उसे कभी किसी चीज की कमी नहीं होती। लेकिन क्या तुम इतनी सुबह उठ पाओगे? हरिचंद्र की ये बात सुनकर दुर्गादास उससे बोला, चाहे कुछ भी हो, मैं उठूंगा और उस हंस को जरूर देखूंगा। हरिचंद्र इतना कहकर वहां से चला गया और दुर्गादास दूसरे दिन बड़े सवेरे उठकर अपने घर से बाहर निकलकर हंस की खोज में खेत खलियान की ओर चला और जाते ही वो उस हंस को ढूंढने लगा जो आसमानों से आने वाला था। लेकिन इसी दौरान जब वो उस हंस को ढूंढ रहा था, उसने देखा कि उसके खेत का नौकर, उसका अपना आदमी, उसके गेहूं अपने थैले में भर रहा था। दुर्गादास ने उसे चोरी करते हुए रंगे हाथों पकड़ा था और सीन ये था कि वो आदमी माफियों पर माफियां मांगे जा रहा था। दुर्गादास ने उसे दोबारा से यह गलती ना करने की शर्त पर माफ किया और गौशाला की ओर चला। वहां भी यही हाल था। नौकर दूध की चोरी में लगे थे। दुर्गादास को देखकर वो हैरान परेशान दाएं बाएं देखने लगे और माफी मांगी। पिछले कुछ दिनों से चुराए दूध के पैसे भी उन्होंने वापस किए। इन दोनों जगह हुए एक्सपीरियंसेस से, अनुभवों से दुर्गादास अच्छे से समझ चुका था कि वो सफेद हंस उसका आत्मनिर्भर होना है, सब कुछ खुद संभालना है। उसे समझ आ चुकी थी कि आत्मनिर्भरता ही उसके जीवन की परेशानियां हल कर सकती है। उसने ठानी कि अब यहां से कोई भी काम किसी और पर नहीं छोड़ूंगा। हर चीज की जिम्मेदारी मैं खुद लूंगा और हर काम को अपने सामने पूरा करवाऊंगा। अब वो रोज सुबह सवेरे खेत जाता, वहां से अपनी गौशालाओं की देखभाल करता और शाम में सारी चीजों का खुद हिसाब किताब करता। वो आत्मनिर्भर होने का मतलब समझ चुका था, सेल्फ इंडिपेंडेंट बनना सीख चुका था और यूं उसके घर के हालात फिर से सही होने लगे। वो फिर से अमीर हो चुका था। अभी कुछ ही दिन पहले
दोस्तों, तो the purpose of showing this clip is to just convince all of you that whatever may be the scheme, whatever may be the amount of package, and whatever may be the features which we are discussing will remain as it is on paper only if being an individual, you and me both are not trying to become self-independent, and not for other but for us only, for your own self, for my own self. we have to think in this direction. You can say that this project, this scheme is just, you can say, one uh, idea which motivate or which inspire or which provide a platform to all of us to think in this direction, right? So it is obviously everybody needs to be independent, everybody needs to be self independent in order to get success in life. This is very very important part, that not only we should think, but we should act in that direction to make our life successful. Let us proceed further. Next question, next slide. Then question arise, what is literacy? If I said traditionally, literacy means ability to read, write, and use arithmetic. Traditionally, we were saying લિટરસી એટલે શું? લખતા વાંચતા આવડે અને થોડી ગણતરી કરતા આવડે તો આપણે એમ કહીએ કે માણસ લિટરેટ છે, ભણેલો છે. And modern says, modern definition of literacy says it is ability to use language, number, images, computers, and other basic means to understand and gain useful knowledge. I have presented on screen some percentage of literacy. Some of the states of our country are doing very well in terms of literacy, and some of the states are still lagging behind. My purpose is not to discuss about the good literacy rate or bad literacy rate. There is also given on the lower side of the slide that individual between age of 50 to 29 are with computer literacy. Urban 56% and rural is 24%. And 35% individuals between the age of 15 to 29 having availability of internet, very latest information. So what we are saying that we will create literacy, financial literacy with the help of technology. How far it is possible, we need to think and rethink in this direction. We people are quite lucky, myself, yourself, probably, that we are connected very well with the technology, but there is a huge number of countrymen, they are not at all connected with these facilities, with this technology. So we need to think in this direction when we say that we will use technology for spreading literacy or financial literacy, right? But again, question arises that only by having a read, write, and arithmetic, or only by having computer literacy or numeric literacy or understanding about languages is sufficient for financial literacy. Question arises that if somebody is having some certificate, some degree, is that sufficient to say that the person is financially literate or not? How to answer this question? Again, I will go with a small clip which provides a very good message, very good idea that what should we mean by literacy, instead of playing with this percentage or playing with this number game.
भैया कुछ दो ना।
अबे यार,
भैया कुछ दो ना, बहुत भूख लगी है।
जाना है यार।
कुछ दीजिए ना।
क्यों परेशान कर रहा है? रुक। ये ले, चल जा।
भैया भैया प्लीज कुछ दो। भैया कुछ दो ना। अंकल कुछ दो ना। भैया कुछ दो ना।
तू फिर आ गया? तू मानेगा नहीं ना। रुक। ये ले, चल।
थैंक यू भैया।
छोटू, ये ले। क्या हुआ तुझे? तो ठीक है ना?
ठंड लग रही है।
इधर आ। तुझे तो बुखार है। एक काम कर, ये ले पैसे और किसी अच्छे डॉक्टर से दिखा लेना। और पैसों की जरूरत हो तो मांग लेना, ठीक है? चलता हूँ, जरूरी है। भाई साहब, एक छोटा सा बच्चा यहाँ सिग्नल पे भीख मांगता है, देखा है क्या आपने? एक छोटा सा बच्चा सिग्नल पे भीख मांगता है, प्यारा सा। भाई साहब, वैसे एक छोटा सा बच्चा देखा मैं, लंबे से बाल हैं, यहाँ सिग्नल पे भीख मांगता है, देखा मैं, मासूम सा। पता नहीं भाई, शायद इधर ही कहीं रहता है, आप देख लो। बेटा, एक छोटा सा बच्चा है, आपसे थोड़ा सा छोटा होगा, गोल मोटल सा है, लंबे से बाल हैं, पता है कहाँ रहता है?
भैया आप यहाँ?
छोटू, तू इतने दिन से सिग्नल पे नहीं आया ना, मुझे तेरी चिंता हो रही थी। देख, तुझे खोजते हुए मैं यहाँ तक पहुँच गया। पर छोटी, तू ये स्कूल के यूनिफॉर्म में?
तो क्या है ना भैया, मेरी माँ अंधी है, तो उनको डॉक्टर के पास ले गए थे। तो डॉक्टर अंकल ने कहा कि माँ की आंखें वापस लाने के लिए बहुत सारे पैसे लगेंगे। तो मैं भीख मांग के तो इतने सारे पैसे नहीं ला सकता, तो मैंने सोच लिया मैं पैसे इकट्ठा करके स्कूल में पढ़ूंगा और बड़ों के बहुत सारे पैसे कमाऊंगा, और फिर मेरी माँ की आंखें फिर से वापस आएंगी और वो दुनिया देख पाएंगी। इसलिए मैंने स्कूल में 1 महीने का फी जमा किया है और अब से मैं स्कूल भी जाता हूँ।
और छोटू, सिर्फ 1 महीने की फीस, उसके बाद का?
बाद में तो पता नहीं, जो होगा देखा जाएगा भैया। चलो अब मैं जाऊँ, मेरी माँ मेरा इंतजार कर रही होगी।
छोटू, एक मिनट, ये ले, आगे की फीस के लिए।
थैंक यू भैया।
एक छोटा सा बच्चा कितनी बड़ी सोच और हौसला रखता है। काश हम सब की सोच इतनी ही बड़ी हो। छोटू, तूने हम सबको जिंदगी की मुश्किलों का सामना करना सिखा दिया। काश मेरी भी सोच इतनी बड़ी होती तो जिंदगी कुछ और ही होती।
Yes, friends. So this is what I mean literacy, right? Just by having certificate or degree is not sufficient. What is more important is to have attitude. A small boy who can understand the importance of education in a right manner, then why not all of us, right? We need to understand that education is very, very important. Education help us to make a person literate, but whether education help us to make financial literate is a question mark. It depends on he or she, that how he or she is pursuing or how he or she is taking education. So one more vision we have to develop along with this, that we should have a connectivity between literacy, education, financial literacy. The more education increase, the more there is increase in level of general knowledge, the level of perception, skill of decision making will improve, and all this development of all this thing will help to become more familiar with the financial literacy. You will be in a better position to take more sound decision relating to your finance, right? So this small short movie, in which at the end of movie that young person was feeling frustrating for his own job, but I'm not agree with that, right? No job, no work is smaller one or bigger one. कोई काम छोटा या बड़ा नहीं होता है, हम काम को छोटा या बड़ा बना देते हैं या उस नजरिए से देखते हैं. Any work which is done with integrity and honesty is always big work, whether it is a case of that delivery boy or any other thing, right? So we should need to develop the kind of attitude which is being shown by that small child, and in spite of that he's having fees issue, he was so confident. So not only academic intuition, but you should have a positive attitude towards this, and you should have a confidence to become more and more literate, more and more knowledgeable. I request here, if anybody wants to raise any question during this presentation at this moment, I would like to give 30 seconds. If anybody is having any comment or question, You can unmute your mic and you can raise your question or you can give your opinion. કોઈ કે કશું કેવું હોય તો 30 સેકન્ડ માટે આપણે રાહ જોઈએ. કોઈ પોતાનો પણ માઇક અનમ્યુટ કરીને કાંઈ પણ અભિપ્રાય આપી શકે છે કે પ્રશ્ન પૂછી શકે છે. Otherwise, I would like to move forward. Yes, anybody would like to raise any point? Fine. Should I proceed further? So, to bigger the scope of financial literacy and financial inclusion, rate of literacy and level of education is very, very important. But these two will not only serve the purpose. That is what I was trying to convey through this short movie named Chotu. It is award-winning movie. Going further, after literacy, of course, next question is, what is financial literacy? Right? In the present scenario, financial literacy has become one of the top priorities for most of the countries of the world, as it is directly having impact on the economic growth of any country. In case of our country, the research says that only 24% people are financially literate. So still 76% people are not covered, are not aware about the financial literacy. This percentage, if I compare, due to lack of time, I am not going in detailed discussion. If we compare with this 24% with some other countries, even underdeveloped countries, some of the under 24% is a very less percentage. So we need to rethink. If you get any opportunity to learn about this financial literacy, grab the opportunity. But of course, you check the source, you check the person's background who is offering such guidance, such knowledge, such information, and then get updated yourself in this particular field step by step. And if possible, try to create awareness among those who are surrounding you. Will help to develop a culture, positive culture in this direction. Many a times we people say the rich get richer while the poor get poor. But then we left the statement here only. We don't raise question further that why this is happening. One of the important reason for this is lack of financial literacy. Those who are financially literate, they are in a position to make their money to run for themselves. And they can save, they can invest, and they can generate return and wealth for their betterment, right? But if we believe that using money to make money is important, then everything would be fine. But normally, what we do, rather than that, just keeping it aside for rainy day will not serve the purpose, right? So that is what I try to convey in these two pictures which are presented at lower side of the slide. So you have to do by your own, and therefore initially I said that self-learning is very, very important rather than relying on any policy or any project by any authority. Going further, then question arise, how to check financial literacy? How to check financial literacy? Some of the common questions I have included here to check financial literacy, because unless and until we know that what is my understanding about this, we may not be able to think for updating. So you raise some simple questions like this. Are you able to understand basic financial concepts like compound interest, credit scores, mutual funds, etc.? Are you able to make effective financial decisions? Financial decisions may be short term or maybe long term, may require huge amount or may require small amount. But you need to check effectiveness. Effectiveness means you need to do cost benefit analysis, what you are deciding and what you are going to get against that decision is very, very important to analyze. Do you know the best way to generate cash flow? Again, cash is playing very, very important part in our life. Though the digitization is nowadays upcoming, but still cash is playing very vital role in our life. So at the cost of liquidity or at the cost of some return, we are generating cash, that we need to decide. Or what is the source of cash, whether we are able to generate cash. Here cash includes bank also, whether we are able to do it as per our requirement and in time. That is very, very important. Are you able to make effective financial planning? Right? Raise question to yourself. Are you able to make effective financial planning? What is financial planning? Financial planning is a process of developing personal roadmap relating to your own finance. There are three pillars of financial planning. Your finances means your income, your assets and liabilities. Second is your goals, what you want to achieve. Your current and future financial needs to be designed properly. And third pillar of this, you must evaluate about your risk-taking capacity, your appetite for risk. These are the three pillars. Based on that, one can go for effective financial planning. Are you able to manage your personal finance well? Right? Personal finance is basically includes what? Personal finance basically includes budgeting, banking, insurance, mortgage, your investments, retirement planning, etc. Your tax planning, your real estate planning. Relating to yourself, are you able to manage your personal finance well? If you are a student right now, then tomorrow this question will come against you. And if you just observe your family source of income and family source of investment planning, you will be in a better position to give your inputs to your parents, your relatives. If you are updated, if you are clear with all these aspects, are you aware of most profitable saving techniques? Do you have enough savings for your rainy days? Right? If you ask very general, if you do simple research, or if you ask a simple question to your parents, to your relatives, to the known persons who are keeping savings accounts, which is very normal practice, ask them a simple question that at the end of every 6 months, you are getting some credit, that is interest on your saving account balance. Have you ever think that the amount which is credited in your account after every 6 months is how calculated? Nobody is focusing on this. Such a small amount or a large amount, in case of somebody is keeping large amount in savings account, but we never try to understand that how this interest is being calculated. Nowadays there is a technology, so it is very easy to calculate, but whatever may be the technology, conceptual learning will remain same. So concept will remain same. So what is the concept of calculating saving of interest? I have seen so many professionals, even they don't know how this interest is being calculated, right? I am just throwing a simple question. Do you have life, a debt-free life? Do you live a debt-free life, right? Loan. My father was telling me several times, loan. Being a Gujarati person, we used to say loan, no loan. As far as possible, you should try to avoid debt. If it is unavoidable, then see that what is the most optimum source available with you. For that also, knowledge of finance is essential. Do you know the best investment option, gaining maximum profit, considering your limitations and your opportunities? Probably you will get the idea about your understanding about your personal finance, your financial literacy. Do you have the solution of your financial problems? In this world, there is no resources which is available in n quantity. Every resource is available in limited quantity, whether it is a case of money or anything else. And if we have limited resources, then there are always problems associated with resources, that how we can utilize these resources. How should we use limited resources to gain maximum benefit out of it? So financial resources, even if you go and ask to Mukesh Ambani that what about you, he will never say that, oh, fine. He will say there is some issues relating to this or that. Their problem is up to their level. Our problem is up to our level. But everybody is having this problem, right? Because money is available in a limited quantity with everybody. So we need to understand that what are our major financial problems and how we can find out solution. If you learn this, definitely you can have some flexibility in your financial planning. You can have some simple, I would like to give here some simple questions. You raise yourself, anybody can raise for solving this financial problems. Suppose you are preparing budget for your own. Ask a question to each element of your budget, whether really you need it or want it. There is a difference between need and want. Can you live without it? Raise another question. If you understand this, it will help to make your budgeting more effective. But normally, in my knowledge, normally we don't believe in preparing budget. I'm saying simple budget means family budget. Many people are using credit cards and debit card just because of some comparison, just because somebody is using, I am also using, and making impulse purchases. And we don't know what we are paying against using this facility. I read somewhere that there is some research that if you calculate the effective rate of interest on some credit card, it resulted into 48%. Now, even if it is not 48% or anything above 12, 15, 20, you can understand that cost which we are paying for utilizing such credit cards. So understand the importance of utilizing such facilities. Ask yourself if you can downsizing, excuse me, જી. ઓહો એવું છે, ઓકે, અચ્છા અચ્છા, એક જ મિનિટ. હું રીસ્ટાર્ટ કરું છું. ઓકે, કઈ છે, જસ્ટ મને નથી દેખાતું અહીંયા. It is fine, ne? Just a minute. હું સ્ટોપ કરીને ફરી જ કરું છું સર. Now visible, sir? Okay. Should I continue? Ji. So sorry for inconvenience. There was some issue regarding slide presentation. So what I was talking all about, that can you downsize your budget? Can you downsize your budget means what? That suppose you are spending and purchasing a particular article of rupees 1,000, can you customize it and make it of 500 rupees, right? So if you can, definitely you will be financially better, right? So debt is again causing big problem. So while raising a debt, while raising a loan, you need to analyze, you need to evaluate for so many times. You think of that whether you have any particular asset which is of no use, you can sell it out, and instead of taking debt, you can raise finance by selling that unrequired, not required asset selling. Or if you have already debt, you can go for selling of that asset and pay off your debt. On one hand, asset is remaining unutilized, and on one hand, you are creating liability and paying interest is not proper planning, financial planning, right? Think about the source of income other than your job or business. Second source of your income, which is called passive income. I will come to that point in my later slide, what is passive income. But think second source of income. Don't rely on single source of your income. Think that you should have some second source of income. So if you do all these things, you take advice from professional, those who are operating themselves in this field. But before entering into any kind of transaction with such professional, such consultant, understand about their knowledge, understand about their experience, understand about their attitude. Nowadays, many times it happens that people are inviting you in a hotel by Sunday evening, and offering you lunch or dinner and providing presentation of 2 hours relating to financial awareness. So before taking any decision, try to understand whether the person who is presenting is having sound knowledge, is having genuine business. Everybody wants to make a profit, everybody wants to earn income, no problem. But whether it is a genuine business proposal or not, that you need to evaluate. There are so many sources available to gain knowledge in this sector, in this field, in this subject, but you need to check the reliability of source first. So this is how you can solve your financial problem. Benefits of financial literacy, what you can gain, why we should go for this financial literacy, what kind of benefits. Tool to tackle poverty, if poor people are offered loan to meet their day-to-day expense, right? If they are little bit financially literate, right, then it would grant them ability to manage money effectively and improve their financial standing. So this literacy is very, very important for poor people. Normally we have assumption that this is required only by rich people, but not necessarily. Poor people can manage their money in a better way if they are financially literate. Financial institutions, those who are having a strong communities value, grant loans at subsidized rates to foster rural entrepreneurship. Financial literacy will help them to gain perspective on market dynamics and mechanisms, right? Without right financial education, entrepreneurs are not able to manage their resources effectively. Critical to the progress of the nation. Say for example, my wife was having rupees 1 lakh in 2000 before 20 years, and she kept it in a cupboard. Today is 2020. In cupboard, this amount will remain as it is. There is no change in terms of value, money value. Of course, real value is very much down. But if that 1 lakh rupee were channelized properly, maybe 2 lakhs, maybe 3 lakhs, maybe 4 lakhs, depends. So individual is at gain, but not only this, your money which you are parking in some option will be utilized by the government to run the economy. I read somewhere that if you park 1 lakh rupee in some channel, government is generating 2 lakhs rupees, right? Which is very, very important for the progress of nation, progress of economy of the country, right? This knowledge is also useful to recognize fraud. It will be easy to identify whether there is a proposal which is relating to fraud or not, especially for senior citizen, right? Because senior citizens are not much aware about all these things, right? So you will be able to identify that whether it is a genuine option or it is going to be fraud. Prepare for retirement, right? What amount is required tentatively? That can be estimated, and based on that, where you should park your saving, at what rate, with what amount of risk, and with what amount of protection will help to make retirement life better. You can be a wealthy, or you can meet at least your needs properly in time. Seek out help when needed. Even I have seen so many people, they have some money, they want to invest, but they are not able to invest because they don't have a knowledge. So they go to somebody who is having knowledge of investments. But even then, they are not able to raise their questions properly, their issues properly. They are looking for a help, but what kind of help they want, they are not able to justify their problem. So that also can be sorted out if you have a little bit idea about financial literacy. In life, there is always ups and downs. Sometimes you are in a good position, sometimes you are facing number of issues. So how to cope with all these things, especially when you are in a crisis? You can take help of your knowledge in the field of finance, particularly for investment, and you can fight against crisis reasonably good. Benefit you can take only, as I said, just educated by experts. Right? Get educated by experts. You go to some a person or a firm who is offering services, and you can get knowledge. You can increase or expand your information regarding finance, regarding investment, knowing your own options, right? જાતે પોતાની જાતે તમે નક્કી કરી શકો. You can evaluate option and you can take decisions where to invest, where not to invest, and preventing confusions. If you are reading some material or watching some uh, program relating to financial literacy, sometimes it happens that we may not be able to understand what that program or what that material is conveying. So if you have a little bit information relating to financial literacy, you will be in a better position to interrupt those materials or programs discussion. What should be done to increase financial literacy? So the next question arises that, okay, fine, we understood that financial literacy is important, but how to improve financial literacy is again a question, right? So I also request those who are sitting professionals that you can also take initiative regarding this. Say you have financial literacy month, right? There is a new policy which is being recently presented by the National Center for Financial Education in the month of September, which is under the Department of Finance, Government of India. They have proposed literacy week. Still we are not reaching up to literacy month, but if you go to foreign countries, they are keeping literacy month. So throughout the month, they are creating awareness among people regarding financial literacy. Say for example, US is celebrating April every month, every year April as a financial literacy month. The new strategy which is being announced recently, including financial syllabus, it is proposed that we should include the topic relating to financial literacy in the curriculum of 6 to 10 standards and also 11, 12 standards, right? So there is, as I said initially, there is a myth that children are not required to learn about financial literacy, which is not true, right? We should make them to understand about the importance of this subject. Read as much as possible. There are so many resources available, right? And nowadays technology is such a fast that you can learn anything and everything sitting at your home, right? Only the thing which is required is to check it out, the updated information is available or not, and the source is reliable or not, whether it is genuine or not, that needs to be checked before you go for implementing the guidance or information available from any source. Use financial management 4 tools, right? Whether you are a doctor, whether you are engineer, whether you are MBA, MCA, whatever may be your profession, whether you are a business person, you have to have some knowledge about this is essential because you are managing your money, right? So some sort of financial management. I don't say you study capital structure and cost of capital or capital budgeting, but the general financial management, as I said, how to calculate interest on your savings, or how to calculate interest on PPF, or how to calculate interest on some policy which you have taken from post office or any other source, or how your investment in mutual fund or stock market is moving, right? So some simple tools which are very, very available. I tell you, future and options are investment options which are very, very risky. And I have seen some chartered accountants, they are not talking on this matter because it is very, very, fluctuating area of investments, carrying huge amount of risk. But if you see a person who is just 12th pass and investing and dealing in this area, they are having sound knowledge. They have never studied, but they have invested their money. So they understand importance of their investment. So they are always updating themselves and they are learning. So that sort of attitude we all need to create, we all need to develop, at least for our investment, our own investment. Right? I give you one simple clip here relating to financial management tool, that how these tools are important, how these tools are important.
So you've got a chunk of change, and you're smart enough. So you put your money into an account that gains compound interest. So how long does it take for your money to double in that account? Well, to find this out, you need two things: your balance and your interest rate. Now, like most things, there's an easy way to find your answer and a hard way. The hard way involves taking the logarithm base 10 of 2 as in 2 times our balance, over the logarithm base 10 of 1 plus our interest rate. Since most of us don't have bionic brains, we can't really do this math in our heads. But our friend Larry is here, and he's going to give it his best shot. We'll get back to him later. Luckily, there's a simple way to approximate how long it takes for your money to double in a compound interest account. It's called the Rule of 72. How does it work? It's surprisingly simple. All you do is take the number 72 and divide it by your interest rate. That's it. It's that easy. The number you get equals the number of years it's going to take to double your money. So let's try it out. Say you have $5,000 in your account earning 4% interest. Now take that magical number 72, take your interest rate of 4%, pull out your phone, text your second grade cousin and ask him how many times 4 goes into 72. He's a bright kid, so he'll tell you the answer is 18. And you'll tell him that he just helped you learn that it will take 18 years for your initial $5,000 to double into $10,000. Let's check in on Larry. That's very nice, Larry. Luckily, with the Rule of 72, there's no need to ever use the hard way. Using the Rule of 72, we can easily see how small changes in interest rate can make a huge difference in our earning potential. A 29-year-old earning 4% compounding interest can expect his account to double twice by the time he's 65. At 8%, it doubles 4 times. At 12%, it doubles 8 times. So by doubling your interest rate from 4% to 8%, you actually quadruple your money. And by tripling your rate from 4% to 12%, you 16-tuple your money. Is that a word? It is now. Interest rates matter. The Rule of 72 helps us understand just how much they matter. So how many doubling periods does your nest egg have before you retire? Now you know the easy way to find out. For this educational video and others,
So this is called Rule 72. Probably those who are having finance background, they must be knowing about Rule 72, which is very, very popular. So you just want to know that when your amount is, by what period your amount will be doubled. For that, we use Rule 72. I give you one assignment, one exercise, those who are sitting here, MBA students, that you try to find out what is Rule 69 and Rule 114. Rule 69 and Rule 114. What is this? Right? Which will help you to improve further your understanding about finance. Get expert advice, attend financial education camp. The role of technology and use of mobile, right, is probably going to play a very vital role. India is to have at present 820 million smartphone users, right, by 2022. So increase in mobile internet is likely to be 50 million every year. So technology can be a very useful tool to spread the knowledge about financial literacy. Increase familiarity with your own finance, digital efforts, as I'm using in my presentation, using some video clips, small short films, etc. Launch of digital wallets, UPI, and new age commercial payments. Banks have new paved with new ways for less cash economy. Right? Raise question to yourself that your own personal finance. Are you engaged? Are you engaging yourself for your own personal finance? I give you a very simple example. How far you are sensitive about your password of accounts, right? We are not so sensitive about password of our accounts. Say for example, I am sharing password of my all accounts with my spouse. Now, this is also financial planning. This is also personal finance. Sharing of your own bank accounts password, right, with your spouse, which is very, very important. At least one should know that what kind of password you are using or what is your password. Maybe your brother, maybe your sister, maybe your spouse, anyone on whom you rely. But not sharing a password may create sometime big problem. At the same time, you should not share your such passwords with anybody and everybody, right? Many a times it happens that we ignore nomination, accounting nomination. We ignore. We are getting even reminder from our bank or the source from where we supposed to give nomination. Still we ignore. Finally, when we get reminder that unless you do this procedure that is called KYC, you will not be permitted to transact, or you will not be allowed to operate. Then and then only we go for such kind of procedure. This is also personal financial planning. For example, we are investing, say for example, in fixed deposits. So should I go with single or should I go with either or survivor, right? Joint operation or individual operation. If possible, in case of a couple, it should be either or survivor. Very simple, right? So this kind of small things we need to consider in our personal finance, right? And at this point, I propose those who are especially management students sitting with me, right? You read good books are available online. It is available physically also available. The best book to start for knowledge in financial literacy, financial inclusion, and financial education is a book which is written by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I hope some of you must have referred this. If you have a language barrier, it is available even in Gujarati. Start with this. You read this book. This is one of the wonderful book, right? Rich Dad Poor Dad. ગુજરાતી વર્ઝનમાં પણ છે. એક નાની બુક પરચેસ કરીને તમારા ગ્રુપમાં સર્ક્યુલેટ કરીને વાંચો. It will boost your interest in the field of financial literacy. હમણાં એક લેટેસ્ટ બુક પણ આવી છે આ જ ઓથરની. એ પણ અત્યારે માર્કેટમાં બહુ જ પોપ્યુલર થઈ છે. 21મી સદીનો વ્યવસાય. There are some other books also. Think and Grow Rich. This book is written by Napoleon Hill. This is again a very good book. Then The Richest Man in Babylon, right? This is written by George Carlin, right? So these are some of the sources from where you can get motivation to start in this area, to gain a knowledge. Now come to the another part of the discussion, passive income. Earlier also I have used initially that you should create a source of passive income right from the beginning at the age of 40 or even early 40, right? Which will help you to live a life better at the time and after retirement, right? Two pictures are available on screen. One is saying that you should have a source of passive income to meet your luxury. If your income is not sufficient to meet with your basic goods, comfort, and luxury, then passive income can be backed to get luxury. Through the income from job is not enough, but the quantum of passive income has made this middle class person rich. But where should I go for passive income? That idea for passive income will come from within, right? There is no particular formula or there is no particular source where you can invest and create a source of passive income. Create a source of passive income. Example of passive income. Say, for example, rental income. Rental income. But income is coming from property. Property may be commercial property or residential property. So again, you have to look that in order to have a property, more than one property, because normally one property is for our own. So normally to have more than one property, you need to have a capital. You need to go for capital investment. So again, you have to correlate with this, that what you are going to invest and what you are going to get. Dividend income is another a good source, but selection of right stock is very, very important. Otherwise, dividend is offering a steady source of income, but selection of stock is very, very important. Interest on income, especially for senior citizen, is very popular source, fixed deposit, because it is not only secured but providing reasonably good amount of return for senior citizen. At the age of retirement, you need two things: you need return and you need security. In that case, such options are quite better. If you have some capacity to write something creative, you can write something and you can create a source of income in the form of royalty. Online income, right? Online income. You can start online some activity, say dealing in property, or say affiliate marketing. Means you are doing marketing of product of some other person or company, where you need not to invest anything by your own, but you can start such kind of activities in order to create passive income, right? Paid subscription, which is written here. For example, if I take example of Rakesh Junjunwala, right, considered as the best investor in our country in stock market. If he start giving tips, if he starts giving idea about investment options in stock market every month, say 2 or 4 stocks, right, you can understand that how many people will subscribe, how many people will join that particular offer. So it will create great income for the person who is creating such source, right? So all these things are very, very important. And why this passive income is so important, again, I would like to present the same with the help of a small clip.
Businesses need a hosting solution that is powerful yet easy to manage. Let's look at how business. Hey guys, this is Ronit and आज
मैं आप में से बहुत से लोगों की कमेंट्स भी देखता रहता हूँ जिसमें होता है ये क्वेश्चन कि व्हाट इज पैसिव इनकम, प्लीज एक्सप्लेन। तो इस वीडियो में आपको बताऊंगा कि आखिर ये पैसिव इनकम क्या होता है, कुछ एग्जांपल्स के साथ में। तो कीप वॉचिंग दिस वीडियो एंड लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड। तो फ्रेंड्स, पैसिव इनकम को समझने के लिए सबसे पहले आपको ये समझना होगा कि आखिर कितनी टाइप्स की इनकम होती है। तो बेसिकली इनकम्स को 3 टाइप्स में डिवाइड किया जाता है, जो कि है एक्टिव इनकम, पैसिव इनकम और तीसरा है पोर्टफोलियो इनकम। तो एक्टिव इनकम जो है वो उसका मीनिंग काफी सिंपल है। एक्टिव इनकम का मतलब ये कि जितने टाइम आप काम करेंगे उतने टाइम ही आपकी इनकम जनरेट होगी। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, अगर कोई जॉब करता है तो जितने टाइम वो जॉब करेगा उतने टाइम ही उसकी इनकम जनरेट होगी। यानी कि एक्टिव इनकम मतलब आपको उसमें एक्टिवली इन्वॉल्व रहना पड़ेगा किसी भी काम में, तो ही आप उस इनकम को अर्न कर पाएंगे। यानी कि जिस टाइम पे आपने काम करना बंद किया तो आपकी इनकम भी रुक जाएगी। आपको अगर इनकम को कंटिन्यू रखना है, आपको अगर इनकम चाहिए तो आपको उसके लिए काम भी करते रहना पड़ेगा। अगर आपको इनकम जनरेट करनी है तो उसमें आपको एक्टिवली इन्वॉल्व रहना पड़ेगा। जैसे कि एक नॉर्मल जॉब होती है कि आपने 1 महीना काम किया और आपको एंड में सैलरी मिल जाएगी, फिर अगर आप अगले महीने काम नहीं करते तो आपको कोई सैलरी नहीं मिलेगी। एज सिंपल एज दैट। यानी कि एक ऐसे टाइप की इनकम जिसमें आपको एक्टिवली इन्वॉल्व रहना पड़ेगा किसी भी काम में, तो ही आप उस इनकम को जनरेट कर पाएंगे, वरना नहीं कर पाएंगे। इसे कहते हैं एक्टिव इनकम। पैसिव इनकम की अगर बात करें तो पैसिव इनकम का मतलब होता है कि अगर आपको उस इनकम को जनरेट करना है, इनकम अर्न करनी है, तो आपका उस काम में एक्टिवली इन्वॉल्व रहना जरूरी नहीं है। यानी कि अगर आपने एक बार काम किया और फिर आपको इनकम मिलती रहे, जरूरी नहीं आप बार बार काम करें या नहीं, तो उसे कहते हैं पैसिव इनकम। पैसिव इनकम के काफी सारे एग्जांपल्स हो सकते हैं। फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर आप एक सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपर हैं, अगर आप एक एप्लीकेशन डेवलपर हैं और आपने एक ऐप डेवलप की और उसे प्ले स्टोर पे और ऐप स्टोर पे पब्लिश किया और उस ऐप को फ्री नहीं रखा, पेड रखा, तो आपने एक बार काम कर लिया, एक बार मेहनत कर ली उस ऐप को डेवलप करने की, और अगर वो ऐप सक्सेसफुल हो गई, अगर वो ऐप पॉपुलर हो गई, तो आपने एक बार काम तो कर लिया, पर उसके बाद जब भी लोग उसको परचेस करेंगे तो आपके पास इनकम आती रहेगी। यानी कि आपने एक पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे काम कर लिया, उसके बाद अगर आपकी ऐप सक्सेसफुल हो गई, अगर आपकी ऐप पॉपुलर हो गई, उसको अगर ज्यादा डाउनलोड मिले, तो आगे धीरे धीरे जैसे जैसे लोग प्राइस पे करके उस ऐप को डाउनलोड करेंगे तो आपके पास पैसे आते रहेंगे। नहीं फर्क पड़ता आप काम करें या ना करें। हाँ, वो है आप काम कर सकते हैं उस ऐप की अपडेट्स के लिए और अलग अलग चीजों के लिए, पर उसके लिए आपका जरूरी नहीं है काम करना। यानी कि आपने एक बार काम किया, उसके बाद जैसे लोग डाउनलोड कर रहे हैं प्राइस पे करके उस ऐप के लिए, तो आपको इनकम आती जा रही है। मतलब आपका उस काम में एक्टिवली इन्वॉल्व रहना जरूरी नहीं है इनकम को जनरेट करने के लिए। आपने सिर्फ एक पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे काम किया और उसके बाद आपको इनकम मिलती रहेगी। अगर आपने जिस भी प्रोजेक्ट पे काम किया है वो हो जाता है सक्सेसफुल। पैसिव इनकम अर्न करने के काफी सारे वेज होते हैं, काफी सारे ऑप्शंस होते हैं, उनके बारे में इस वीडियो में बात नहीं करूंगा, आप उसे इंटरनेट पे चेक कर सकते हैं। सबसे बेस्ट एग्जांपल पैसिव इनकम का है ये जो अभी आप देख रहे हैं यूट्यूब। यानी कि फॉर एग्जांपल किसी ने अगर यूट्यूब पे अपनी कुछ वीडियोस अपलोड की, फिर उन वीडियोस पे अगर रेगुलरली व्यूज आते रहते हैं, उन वीडियोस पे अगर एड्स शो होती रहती है रेगुलरली, तो उन वीडियोस के थ्रू, उन एड्स के थ्रू इनकम जनरेट होती रहेगी। जिसने भी उन वीडियोस को अपलोड किया है, जरूरी नहीं है कि वो अपने चैनल पे अपनी वीडियोस पे कुछ काम करे या नहीं, अगर उन वीडियोस पे रेगुलरली व्यूज आते हैं, उन वीडियोस पे एड शो होती रहती है, तो इनकम जनरेट होती रहेगी उस क्रिएटर के लिए। जरूरी नहीं है वो काम करे या नहीं करे। ये सबसे बेस्ट एग्जांपल है पैसिव इनकम का, जो कि है यूट्यूब। और जो तीसरी टाइप की इनकम होती है वो होती है पोर्टफोलियो इनकम, जो कि लिंक्ड होती है स्टॉक मार्केट या फिर शेयर मार्केट से। फॉर एग्जांपल, आपने बहुत सारी कंपनीज के शेयर्स खरीद लिए और अगर वो कंपनीज अच्छा परफॉर्म करती है तो उन शेयर्स पे आपको जो इनकम है वो जनरेट होती रहेगी। उन शेयर्स पे जो डिविडेंड्स है वो आपको मिलते रहेंगे, चाहे आप उन शेयर्स को मॉनिटर करें या ना करें, चाहे आप काम करें या ना करें। अगर वो जो कंपनीज है जिनके आपने शेयर्स परचेज किया, अगर वो अच्छा परफॉर्म करती है, अगर उन्हें प्रॉफिट होता है, तो आप काम करो या ना करो, उन शेयर्स पे जो डिविडेंड्स है वो आपको मिलते रहेंगे, इनकम जनरेट होती रहेगी। पोर्टफोलियो इनकम को भी पैसिव इनकम में माना जाता है क्योंकि इसका कंसेप्ट भी सेम पैसिव इनकम जैसा ही है। यानी कि आपको एक्टिवली अपने काम में इन्वॉल्व रहने की जरूरत नहीं है। आपने एक बार किसी प्रोजेक्ट पे काम किया, एक बार आपने एक्शन ली, उसके बाद इनकम जनरेट होती रहेगी। अगर आप उस काम में हो जाते हैं सक्सेसफुल, आपको उस काम में एक्टिवली इन्वॉल्व रहना जरूरी नहीं है। इसका कंसेप्ट भी पैसिव इनकम जैसा ही है, इसलिए पोर्टफोलियो इनकम को भी पैसिव इनकम ही माना जाता है। तो ये थी 3 टाइप की इनकम, एक्टिव इनकम, पैसिव इनकम और पोर्टफोलियो इनकम।
So friends, the purpose of showing this particular clip is basically 2 reasons. Number 1, you can see that such a small guy is presenting on such a technical topic in a very simple way. So just to motivate you that there is no consideration of age, that only after this age you required, right? From the very small age you can start learning in this area. The boy was presenting about passive income. He seems to be very young and he was advocating about using this YouTube channel. So that is also indicating that the new generation is purely attached with technology. So you need to be updated every time. That is very, very important, right? So in case of a person like me who is in the age of 50, I love to work with young people because of 2 reasons. Number 1, they are techno savvy, and number 2, they are enthusiastic to work, right? So you should also try to find out such options, right? so that being a young person, you can get learning, you can get benefit of experienced person. So blending of experience and young techno savvy can create a good platform for productive output. Going further, what is financial education, right? I'm not going in detailed discussion because I have already discussed in initial stage about all these things. Financial education is a tool to improve the extent and scope of financial literacy and strengthen the financial inclusion. Financial education is defined as the process by which financial consumer investors improve their understanding of financial products, concepts, and risk through information, instruction, and or objective advice, develop the skill and confidence to become a more aware of financial risk and opportunities. You can understand what is right and wrong, what is true or false, what is correct or incorrect, to make informed choices, to know where to go for help, and to take other effective actions to improve their financial well-being. I give you here a small assignments, those who are sitting with me, especially management students, that try to understand the meaning of financial knowledge, financial behavior, and financial attitude, along with financial literacy and financial education. People achieve financial literacy through the process of financial education. So you can say that financial education is a tool to spread financial literacy. And therefore, there is an agency, called National Center for Financial Education. National Center for Financial Education is established under Section 8 of Companies Act 2013. It is NGO which provides or which works on spreading financial literacy and financial education throughout the country. This National Center for Financial Education, with other 4 regulators, RBI, SEBI, IRDA, and PFRDA, that is Reserve Bank of India, Security Exchange Board of India, Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India, and PFRDA, that is Pension Fund Regulatory Development Authority, and other relevant stakeholders. They have framed the strategy, which is called National Strategy for Financial Education. I am just going to give you a glimpse of this strategy here, but if you do Googling, you will get the whole document on this National Strategy for Education, Financial Education, 2020-2025. This is second of its kind of strategy which is being prepared and presented by the NCFE, which is governed under the Department of Finance, Government of India. The first one was presented in 2013 to 2018, right? And with the objective to fill up the gap of financial literacy among citizens of the country, right? Here also there is one presentation, but I would like to skip due to lack of time. Let us go further. What is National Strategy for Financial Education? So India has a large population. The demographic advantage can be leveraged to ensure that India becomes one of the fastest growing economies, with emphasis on inclusive growth through a vibrant and stable financial system. What is inclusive growth? Inclusive growth suggests that there should be increase in employment and decrease in poverty. If that kind of growth is taking place, it is called inclusive growth. Since a large number of stakeholders, including central and state government, financial sector regulators, financial institutions, civil society, academia, educational institutions, NCFM, right? NCFM is an institution which is offering number of modules, especially those who are pursuing MBA finance. I suggest that before you complete your 2 years program, you should clear at least one of the module. For example, if you have interest in stock market, you should pick up capital market. If you have interest in mutual fund, you should pick up with the MFI module. You should have interest in derivatives, then there is a specific module for derivatives, right? So you can get additional certification, right? So in this way, this agency is trying to spread financial literacy in a country, right? So Going further, who prepared NSFE? The Reserve Bank of India has released this NSFE 2020-2025 document for creating financial awareness and empowered India. This is second of its kind, as I said. The first one was released in 2013 to 2018. Even if you do Googling, you can get the idea about the outcome of the first strategy. I'm also skipping the outcome of first strategy because of short of time. The NSFE present is for a period 2020 to 2025. Basically, this strategy is prepared by four regulators: RBI, SEBI, IRDA, and PFRDA, as I said, on under the aegis of Technical Group of Financial Inclusion and Financial Literacy, which is governed by RBI, Governor and Deputy Governor, right? So this is how the strategy is prepared. What is this strategy? As I said, it is under Section 8 of Companies Act 2013. It emphasized on multi-stakeholders. As I said, there are four different sectors are playing important role in framing this strategy. Lead to approach for empowering various sections of the population to develop adequate knowledge, skills, attitudes, and behaviors which are need to be managed their money more better. And again, add one more assignment for yourself. I am skipping the discussion on the terminology, financial well-being. Right? There is a supply side, there is a demand side, and the ultimate objective of supply side and demand side and the channelizing authority is to create financial well-being among the people. As I said, 38 crore accounts are already open, right? So that is one side, right? The another side is to have a knowledge about how to operate and how to take advantage of this opening of accounts. And the third is agency like this and government are playing a role to have a consolidation of both so that it leads to a financial well-being among citizens. Right. Going further, the institutional arrangement and flowchart and responsibility of each stakeholders. This agency is chaired by the Honorable Union Finance Minister. As I said, it is Financial Stability and Development Council Subcommittee, right, which is chaired by Governor, RBI. The Technical Group on Financial Inclusion and Financial Literacy, which is chaired by Deputy Governor and RBI, and everybody is having a defined role to play. For example, Department of Financial Services and Department of Economic Affairs, a Ministry of Finance, they are made responsible for creating coordination with other ministries and how to create funding support for the spreading of financial literacy in the country. RBI and other four regulators, as I have already explained, right? They are in a process of specific education creating and supporting this National Center for Financial Education for developing skill and knowledge of financial literacy. National Center for Financial Education is playing a key role in this whole process. Their job is to provide basic financial education, is to create a content on financial education, is to develop e-learning module and financial education, and to carry out research and survey what kind of financial literacy is necessary or to be provided to the different class or different level of people in country. And finally, there are some authorities, right? They are also supporting this strategy, right? That is NPCI, SROs, DFIs. These are authorities which are supporting for the effective implementation of this strategy. Going further, strategic objectives. This strategy is carrying following objectives. To achieve the vision of creating financially aware and empowered India, the following strategic objectives have been laid down. Inculcate financial literacy concept among the various sections of the population through financial education. So conceptual clarity is to be created. Saving behavior. As I said earlier, earning is difficult, but compared to earning, saving is difficult. right? So creating saving habits among the people is very, very important. Encourage participation in financial markets to meet financial goals and objectives, because we want to channelize the saving. So for that purpose, we need to create participation, develop credit discipline, right? Don't go for unnecessary credit, and encourage availing credit from formal financial institutions as per requirement. Regarding saving, probably the second last clip which I would like to present here, saving, a very small but very informative video clips which I would like to share with you.
कहते हैं कि बस ये काम हो जाए, हमारी थोड़ी सी अर्निंग और बढ़ जाए तो हम बहुत सारा पैसा बैंक में जमा करा देंगे। लेकिन अगर आप सच में पैसा बचाना चाहते हैं तो आपको छोटी सेविंग करने के बारे में सोचना चाहिए। छोटी सेविंग से आप असल में बहुत बड़े फायदे उठा सकते हैं, और इसे ज़्यादा अच्छी तरह से समझाने के लिए मैं आपके साथ एक कहानी शेयर करता हूँ। एक घर में 4 लोग रहा करते थे, पति, पत्नी और उनके 2 बच्चे। उस घर में पति हर महीने सैलरी मिलने पर अपनी सैलरी से कुछ रुपए अलग निकाल कर रख देता था, और उन रुपयों को 4 अलग अलग तरह के नोटों में बांट दिया करता था, जिनका अमाउंट अलग अलग होता था। घर आने के बाद पति एक खेल करता था। वो चारों नोटों को टेबल पर रख देता और पत्नी से एक नोट उठाने के लिए कहता, और पत्नी हर बार सबसे छोटा नोट उठा लेती। ये सिलसिला सालों तक चलता रहा। सारे नोटों की कीमत बढ़ती रही, लेकिन फिर भी पत्नी सबसे छोटा ही नोट उठाती थी। बच्चे भी बड़े हो गए, और एक दिन उन्होंने माँ से कह दिया कि माँ, तुम्हें दुनियादारी की समझ नहीं है। नोटों की कीमत उसके रंग से नहीं, उसकी वैल्यू से होती है। तुम हर बार सबसे छोटा नोट उठा लेती हो, और इस तरह से इतने सालों में तुम्हारा काफी नुकसान हुआ है। माँ ने उनकी बातों को सुना और फिर हंसकर जवाब दिया, मुझे पता है कि नोटों की कीमत रंगों से नहीं, वैल्यू से होती है, और जो नोट तुम सभी की नज़र में सबसे छोटा है, मेरे लिए असल में वो सबसे बड़ा नोट होता है। और मुझे यह मालूम है कि मैं हर बार सबसे बड़ा नोट ही उठाती हूँ। माँ की यह बात सुनकर बच्चे और पति कंफ्यूज हो रहे थे, और उसके बाद उन्हें जो जवाब मिला वो हम सभी को छोटी सेविंग के बड़े फायदे समझाता है। माँ ने अपनी बात का मतलब समझाते हुए बच्चों से कहा, अगर मैंने पहले ही दिन सबसे बड़ा नोट उठा लिया होता तो ये खेल पहले ही दिन खत्म हो जाता। उस बड़े नोट को उठाने के बाद घर चलाने में दिक्कत आती, और मुझे मेरा बड़ा नोट घर के काम काज के लिए वापस देना पड़ता, और अगले महीने ये खेल नहीं होता। लेकिन मैंने छोटा नोट उठाया, और उस छोटे नोट के कम हो जाने का घर के खर्चों पर कोई बड़ा असर नहीं हुआ। मुझे मेरे पैसे मेरे पास रखने के लिए मिल गए, और ये सिलसिला हर महीने चलता रहा। इस छोटे नोट को उठाने की समझदारी के कारण पिछले 25 सालों में मुझे 300 नोट मिल चुके हैं, और इन सारे नोटों की कीमत उस पहले बड़े नोट से कहीं ज्यादा है। लेकिन मैंने अगर पहले दिन बड़ा नोट उठा लिया होता तो यह सिलसिला उसी दिन खत्म हो जाता, और फिर मुझे इतने सारे छोटे नोट नहीं मिलते। तो इस तरह से मैंने हर बार सबसे बड़ा नोट उठाया है और सबसे ज्यादा फायदा भी कमाया है। मेरी उस सेविंग से कभी किसी ने कोई उम्मीद भी नहीं की, इसलिए मेरे उठाए हुए सारे पैसे आज भी बैंक में रखे हुए हैं, और मुझे उन पर ब्याज भी मिलता जा रहा है। ये सुनकर पति और बच्चे तो स्पीचलेस हो चुके थे, लेकिन हम सभी इस छोटी सी कहानी से बहुत सारी
So I have just cut short the clip. I understand it is already 2 hours, so I will try to cover the remaining portion as fast as possible. But the small story is giving so many messages to us that there is no question about the amount, whether it is small or big. What is more important is saving. And second, channelize of saving. That lady says that she has invested in a bank and getting interest on it. So these two things are very, very important. You save, and after saving, you invest your saving, right? So encourage saving behavior, encourage participation in financial market, developing credit discipline, improve usage of digital financial services, manage risk, plan for old age and retirement, knowledge about right duties and avenues for grievance redressal, improve research and evaluation methods. These are all strategic objectives of this policy, right? Going further, how this policy should be implemented, national strategy for financial education, how it should be implemented. These strategic objectives are going to be implemented with 5 different approaches. I am not discussing in detail, just discussing in a very summarized form that in order to achieve strategic objectives, there are 5C approach which is being laid down in the policy content. This policy, this strategy is targeting different people. Different people means it may be man or woman, it may be a children, it may be a school, it may be a teacher, it may be a business person, maybe a new business person or old person. Everybody is targeted in this strategy. So content is prepared according to the target audience. Suitable content is required. If person is literate or unliterate will make a difference in understanding. So content is prepared accordingly. Capacity means to develop capacity among those who are having space, those who are having authority to spread financial literacy. They should be encouraged, they should be promoted, right? For example, there is a financial literacy center, right? FLC counselors are available. So FLC counselors are in a position to spread knowledge about the financial literacy. So they should be well equipped. That is what. And there should be a code of conduct for financial education providers. It is voluntary code of conduct. Community, right? Evolve community. Community, there are self-help group volunteers available which are particularly working for a particular community. So they should be targeted. Teachers and such other people, those who are directly associated or connected with the people, those people should be targeted and they should be provided with the financial literacy so that they can pass on the same information, same knowledge to the society. Communication. So which technology, which media should be used to make it communication more effective? That is what also this strategy is discussing all about. And collaboration, streamline the efforts of other stakeholders for financial literacy is also required for the successful implementation of this strategy. For example, I give you a very simple example that now in B.Ed and M.Ed, we do B.Ed, M.Ed in Gujarati, Hindi, English. Now B.Ed, M.Ed in financial literacy is proposed. So there will be a specific faculty, there will be a specific teacher, educated teacher, formally education will be provided, and they will be working in a society for a subject like financial literacy. Right. Finally, I come to the conclusion, right? So there are so many schemes which I have listed on this slide, right? Your financial decisions are concerned. With these words, once again, I express my sincere thanks and gratitude to all participants who spent their valuable time with me for almost 2 hours plus and listening me very patiently. And I express my special thanks to Mehta sir and Chirag sir for providing me a platform. And I would not like to thank Girish Kaka and Chiman Kaka because they are my vadils. As and when I get opportunity, I will always be happy to associate with Viraval Education Society in any way. Once again, I thank you all. Namaskar.
Yes, we have got a very informative knowledge from Dr. Vijay H. Vyas sir. As all of we know that how to manage money and how to save and invest money or income particularly, and then also why the needs is there to be independent, or what is financial literacy, then passive income, like this. So almost all, which is very much important for our particularly to be financial literate. We have got a proper knowledge from the Dr. Vijay H. Vyas sir. So I am very much thankful to him on behalf of NJSMTI. And I am also very much thankful to all the students and such technical staff, our staff, particularly admin staff, and we are so much thankful with particularly I would like to extend my thanks to Professor Dr. Vijay Vyas sir, who has shared his valuable time with us. And I would like to highlight here one thing is that he is former director of this institute also, and so we get this advantage. So we are so much lucky that we have such a wonderful personality with us. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.
Once again, thank you all. All sahib, Kuku Baba. Mehta sahib, Girish Kaka che.
1 minute. Yes. So, Girish sahib. Hello. हाँ हाँ
थोड़ी
लोग हाँ हाँ 6 लोग हाँ हेलो हाँ गिरीश भाई हेलो
Mehta sahib, it's okay, हम फोन पे बात करें.
Yes, yes. Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you all, sir. Yes, yes, sir. His is there.
Jai Somnath Kaka.
Thank you, sir. Hello. Girish bhai. તમે માઇક છે ને અનમ્યુટ કરશો.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, sir. Yes.
Is it audible now?
Yes, sir.
Are you there?
Yes, sir. Audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It was very excellent seminar. Almost all the aspects you covered up, so far as financial literacy is concerned, and I am definitely sure that our students have been benefited a lot. Not only students, but our faculty also have been benefited. And being a person from rather ex-financial person, હું તો હવે ભૂતપૂર્વ થઈ ગયેલો માણસ છું. આવા સરસ પ્રેઝન્ટેશનમાં એક હેઝાર્ડનો મુદ્દો ઇનકોર્પોરેટ કરી દો. સ્પેક્યુલેટિવ હેઝાર્ડ તો ખરું, તમે મેન્શન કરી દીધું.
જી સર.
પણ અનએક્સપેક્ટેડ પેરિલ્સ, say like corona, say like earthquake.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Say like flooding. And the last one more thing is we all are perishable person. We don't have the knowledge of our expiry date, when our income will expire, that we don't know, because our income is very much associated with our existence. So at least a person should be covered for enough amount.
Yes, sir.
to cover the financial need of the future.
Yes, sir.
And there are so many instruments available in the market now, because nowadays we are having 22 life insurance companies
Yes, sir.
and not less than 39 health insurance companies.
Yes, sir.
વિજયભાઈ આ વખતે કોરોનાની ટ્રીટમેન્ટના બિલ છે ને એ હિન્દુસ્તાનમાં હાઈએસ્ટ થયા 28 લાખ રૂપિયાના ટ્રીટમેન્ટ કોરોનાના થયા.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
એટલે જે કોઈએ ક્યારેય કલ્પના જ નહીં કરેલી કે આટલું મોટું બિલ આવે મેડિકલ.
Yes, sir.
બરોબર, પણ મજા આવી, ખરેખર મજા આવી. હું 2 કલાક તમને બરાબર તમને અહીંયા રહ્યા તો ક્યારે આવો સાંભળવાનો મોકો નહીં મળ્યો હતો.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
કારણ કે તમે લોકો મને તમારા લેક્ચરમાં તો આવવા દો નહીં.
હું બધું અમને શીખવા મળ્યું છે ને મળે છે સર આપની પાસેથી. એ અમારું ખરેખર શું કહેવાય નસીબ છે સર. ખરેખર મજા આવી.
મજા આવી, ખરેખર મજા આવી.
પ્લીઝ.
થેન્ક યુ ઓલ.
થેન્ક યુ સર. થેન્ક યુ સર. જય સોમનાથ સર.
થેન્ક યુ. ઓકે
ઓકે ઓકે ઓકે મહેતા સાહેબ, દ્વિવેદી સાહેબ ને મારા નમસ્કાર કહેજો. ચિરાગભાઈ ને થેન્ક યુ કહેજો. રાવલ સાહેબ થેન્ક યુ.